Welcome to Click for Biology. In this video, we're going to be looking at the variety of living organisms, and in particular to those organisms which are known as the eukaryotes. When we look at living things, there are some basic ideas to have, which is that all living things are composed of cells. And of course, in the previous video, we discovered that those cells show the characteristics of life that are summarized in the mnemonic Mrs. R. Gren. So here we move on to think about the cells, the different types of cell. All living things are made of cells. Now, when we examine those cells of all living things, we discover that essentially they fall into two groups. I'll try and illustrate that here. One group, inside the cell, there is a structure which we call the nucleus. And inside that nucleus is the genetic material of the cell. So we'll call that DNA. This nucleus is a membrane-bound spherical structure. These cells here are the eukaryotes. So all living things are made of cells, and all eukaryotes have a nucleus. The other group does not have a nucleus, and the DNA that they have is simply a looping molecule where one end of the molecule is attached to the other, and these cells are called prokaryotes, or what you and I are more likely to call bacteria. These will be studied in a later video. Let's take a closer look at the eukaryotic cells. The eukaryotic organisms are divided into four groups, and you can see the groups of plants, animals, fungi, and Protoctista. This last one is probably a new name for you. And in fact, this last group, the Protoctista, is different to the other three because this group here is composed of all of those living things made of cells, which therefore means they have a nucleus. So Protoctistans are cells. They have a nucleus, making them eukaryotes, but they only exist as single cells. Some of those single cells are almost animal-like, and others are more plant-like and carry out the process of photosynthesis. A good number of the Protoctista are associated with causing disease, and here we have an example here of a Protoctistan single-celled organism causing disease, and you can see that its name is Plasmodium. It lives inside red blood cells and is the cause of the disease called malaria. And the Plasmodium gets from one person to another through mosquitoes drinking the blood when they bite someone with malaria, and they take it to another person, and in so doing transmit the disease. So let's take a look at the other three major groups. These are, unlike the Protoctista, which are single cells, these three groups here are all multicellular organisms. They are made up of many cells. The groups are different from each other in the characteristics that they show and the structures that we find in their cells. Plants, characteristically, are multicellular eukaryotic organisms able to carry out the process of photosynthesis, in which they take carbon dioxide and water, and they can manufacture, with the assistance of light, they can manufacture sugars, photosynthesis. Plant cells also have a wall going around the outside, and that wall is composed of this molecule here, which is called cellulose. So plants are eukaryotic, multicellular, photosynthesizing, with cell walls and able to carry out processes which manufacture sugars. Now contrast them with multicellular organisms, which again are eukaryotic, but this time there is no photosynthesis and there are no cell walls. These animal cells store carbohydrate as what we call glycogen. We'll visit this in a later video. Animals show tremendous variety, from simple things such as insects all the way through to the complexity of the human mammalian like ourselves. The third group of eukaryotic organisms has a strange combination of characteristics. They cannot photosynthesize. They have cell walls, but the cell walls are made of this substance here, which is chitin. Fungal cells are also able to, they cannot photosynthesize, and so they have to obtain their nutrient from other living things, and they characteristically do so by breaking down those things with digestive enzymes in the process that we would call decomposition, and they are called saprotrophs. Like animal cells, they store carbohydrate as glycogen. Okay, those are our four groups. So the first way to distinguish them, as if they are just single cells, these are the Protoctista. If they are multicellular, that's plants, animals, or fungi. Plant cells can do photosynthesis, and they have the cellulose walls. Animal cells have neither of these features. And the fungal cells, they have a wall which is made of chitin, different to plants, but they cannot photosynthesize. So that's our first four groups of the eukaryotic organisms. Pause your video now and then attempt to answer these four questions. When you've completed your answers, take a look at the link in the description below where you will find the answers, and that will be a chance for you to also subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching this video.